Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. Let's look at the phrases MIGHduv and MIGHNAHduv for fluent speaking. We'll talk about how to stress using these words in phrases, and then we'll give you lots of opportunities to practice using shadowing and listening and repeating techniques. So first of all, we can talk about MIGHduv comes from might have, and we can use this with another verb. So typically we would say, for example, I might have been. And we can also use this with an additional verb. For example, I might have been going, I might have been doing, etc. Where we stress depends on what's happening in that phrase. So in our typical rule for sentence stress is that we stress content words, and we always stress the content word that comes closest to the end of the sentence or closest to the end of the thought group. Content words are words that have more meaning or more content, like nouns, verbs, adjectives, and I'll give you examples for all of our practice phrases today of which way we're going to stress the phrase. So for example, in the phrase, I might have been going, for example, going gets the stress because it's the content word that comes closest to the end. It contains content meaning to go, and the been is not very important here. Might have been. All of those other verbs are just showing us the grammar. So I might have been going. Going is the most important. It gets lengthened. It gets the stress. I might have been going. But in I might have done that, I might have done that, you can hear how I'm lengthening on done because the word that is not a content word. It's just a stand-in for a real content word. So words like that, something, it, I might have done that, I might have done something, I might have done it. Those words like that, something, and it are standing in for another noun. And so that in that case, done is our stressed word. I might have done that. So I might have been going, I'm stretching on going. I might have done that, I'm stretching on done. So you can't learn just one pattern for MIGHduv or MIGHNAHduv because it'll change depending on the rest of the sentence. I'm going to give you, as I said, examples using both types of patterns so that you can really get used to hearing both how we link and connect for MIGHduv and MIGHNAHduv, and also where to lengthen and how to stretch to have the proper, correct intonation for your phrase. One other comment is that for certain verbs like been and had, we could stress either way. So when I'm saying I might have been going, I'm stressing on going. But if I said, for example, I might have been there. Been is a content word, whereas there, again, is a structure word. So we have to look at the actual phrase, I might have been going. Going has the content. I might have been there. Been has the content. Same thing can happen with had. For example, I might have had something. I might have had that. Something, that, not content words, so I'm stressing on had. If I say something like, I might have had time, I might have had an idea, I might have had a reason. Time, idea, and reason, those are all nouns with my content. Now had is no longer stressed. I might have had time versus I might have had it. So again, recognizing that it's not always the last word, it's not always the second to last word, it's the last content word, and some words like had and been are content words when they're the final verb, and are not content words when there's an adjective, a noun, or another verb after them. So that's the pattern we're looking at. We're going to practice with these phrases using been, done, seen, said, and had. And for this practice part of the lesson, I'll say the phrase, I'll pause and give you time to repeat, and then we'll move on. You can see the chart with the list of verbs to use to follow in the description so that you can think ahead and plan ahead for listening to what you're going to be repeating. And you can also use that after you've used the models. You can practice just using without listening first, trying to use these this fluent connected speech with the correct intonation pattern. So let's get started. We'll use I MIGHduv for our first set of practices. So we'll do I might have been and then some verbs. Let's try. I might have been going. I might have been doing that. I might have been seeing her. I might have been working. I might have been thinking about it. Now, I might have done. I might have done that. I might have done something. I might have done it. Now let's use I might have seen. I might have seen something. I might have seen someone. I might have seen it. I might have seen a reason. I might have seen a friend. I might have seen a movie. I might have seen a show. Let's use I might have said. I might have said that. I might have said it. I might have said nothing. I might have said something. Let's use I might have had. I might have had time. I might have had an idea. I might have had a reason. I might have had some. I might have had that. I might have had those. Now let's try with I might not have. I might not have been going. I might not have been seeing it. I might not have been working. I might not have been thinking. I might not have been there. I might not have been okay with it. Let's do I might not have done. I might not have done that. I might not have done it. I might not have done something. Let's do I might not have had. I might not have had time. I might not have had a reason. I might not have had some. I might not have had an idea. Let's do I might not have been with some adjectives. I might not have been happy. I might not have been angry. I might not have been okay with it. I might not have been ready. I might not have been busy. Let's try a few phrases using you. You might have been. You might have been going. You might have been doing it. You might have been working. Let's use you might have done. You might have done that. You might have done something. You might have done it. We can also practice with he, she, and it, we, and they. These pronouns and verbs and objects of the sentences are interchangeable, and you can use the chart to fill in your own. It's also helpful to use repeated phrase practice where you say I might have been and then fill in the blank with your own word. That's a little bit more challenging than just listening and repeating because you also have to think of what to say at the same time. And it's a great way to practice selecting one of the phrases. So you might just choose I might have been blanking and put in a verb for the blanking so that you can do a lot of repetition to get the fluency, the natural flow, and the intonation for these phrases. Suggestions for repeated phrase practice will be in the description, and I hope this was a helpful lesson for you to listen and practice with these common everyday phrases, to have the correct rhythm, to say them fluently and accurately using the reductions and the speed just like a native speaker. I'll be back with more fluency lessons soon. Thanks so much for listening and watching. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com.